They're going to be stringent, and in my opinion, they're more strict than any of them that we looked at, because we cherry picked what we wanted out of the other regulations and then put our numbers in. Okay? So anybody who thinks that we're writing it for one entity, we're not. We're writing it for Jackson County, protect the county, protect you.
All right, Jeff.
Pam had one question.
Well, I'm going to get to Jeff. I got a few more people. I'll come back to you, Pam, I promise. We've had several rounds of these. So, Jeff Wesley? Jeff still here? He's out. Is he coming back? No? Okay. Thank you. His wife, she's not coming back either? Okay. I'm sorry. Ken? Ken in here? Ken Eaton? Oh, Ken, how are you?
Okay. One question.
Speak loud, because I'm hard of hearing.
If this sales tax proposal,
Yes, sir.
it has to come before the public vote,
Yes,
not a commission.
That's correct.
Okay.
It would be, so Ken, the process again would be that Francis Tower Camp would sponsor it in January, and then that would allow it to be put on the ballot in 2025 in November, and Christie would put it on the ballot, and you all would get to vote for it. We would also, if we move ahead with this, I want input on what it would be, but I really want input whether we should do it at all. So that's what we're here for about. Your thoughts on do you want it or not? I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm like you, I'm trying to make a decision.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your honesty. Save the best for last, Bruce.
Signed a lot of those things, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Okay. Anyway, I'm Bruce Shaw. I own JACO TV. I've worked there for 47 years. I've owned it for 30 years. I'm owing on the taxes. 1%. I'm way off on the 2%. That's what I pay out. I'm already talking about that. I'm only raising it by 4%.
No, it could go above 1%.
You know, I'm a small business. You know, when a county relies on small business people here, and you know, I appreciate everything a small business person does. We work hard every day trying to bring a good world to Jackson County. Jackson County County Commissioners for letting me talk and being here and having this meeting. Back to the, you know, I sell horses and appliances. I sell appliances. You know, if you go back to the 8.65, this may be boring for some of you, but it's a big thing to me. You sell a horse machine for $500. You get $43.25. If you raise it to 9.65, you get about, it's a $10 increase. You know, which is $10 is not, you know, now $10 is $10. Well, then you go to a kitchen. Kitchens are roughly $5,000.
Yep.
At 8.65, it's $432. If you raise it to 9.65, it's $482. It's $50. You know, which, okay, you know, I'm trying to, I have to match the big stores prices. You know, you go out there, they price it, they come, well, I know, you can do that. So I try to match it. Well, if you get above the sales, you know, speed is 9.35%.
Yeah, depending on what part of the people.
Yeah, depending on the side of the highway, what side of the water you're on.
That's correct.
Yeah. You know, so then they go, well, I said, yeah, I know, it's $50, you know, $50, you know. And it's kind of, you know, you're trying to operate a business on a small profit anyway, because you've tried to play the game for big boys. And, you know, they've got all the quirks and stuff. And so I'm really throwing upon if you raise the sales tax, I'd hate to see you go above sales, I'd hate to see you go above a lot of money to operate everything out. I mean, everything is, every business, every, just needs money as far as that goes. But, you think, okay, well, they won't walk away from a $10 deal. They won't walk away for $50. They still shop. Maybe, hopefully I've got a service that I can buy and I'll sell it to them. But there are people, how many people have ever gone and bought a handful of trucks out downtown and paid 10 cents less a gallon? It's 20 gallons. That's $2. But you didn't. It's $2. Well, it's $2, but you still shopped. You went for $2.
And just a note on that, I do go south of town.
Oh, I do too.
That's all, I saw you there the other day.
You're the freshest.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I do. We appreciate it. I appreciate that. I went out to the car yesterday. It really run good. So, basically, that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm not going upon one way or the other, but I hate to see you try to get over the price of what they got.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Try to be competitive. Try to be competitive.
Can I,
Go ahead. Back to the, we talked about there, the sales tax.
yes,
What if you give Jackson County and their sales tax 8.65 last year? And it was like 17 or $1 million some odd dollars in the case.
about 1.3,
Whatever it was.
give or take.
Okay, if they raised it to 9.65, what would the price, or what kind of increase would that be in the sales tax for a year? Million gross sales for a year ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think it's $1 million. It's
Around
around
inch.
Yeah.
Again, it's not guaranteed because if the economy gets
Well,
worse
it's
than
just,
what it already
if you
is.
raise it up to there, then people are gonna look at this thing, and they're gonna say, well, I can buy it, I can go to Kansas City and buy it for this. And
I
in
agree.
my world, I've learned over the years that you're gonna have to take a little to get, if you'd rather take a little than lose it all. Because you could, for $50, you could lose the whole sales tax, you lose $450 for $50.
Right.
And that's what I had to operate my business for years. And
So, if it was just a 1/4%,
yeah, work.
well,
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
It's your fault.
I'm just curious of the pulse of the community, and you guys are pretty good representation of the community here. If we said we were just gonna do a 1/4% and we're gonna give it all to the hospitals, show of hands of people would be in favor of that. Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I think just put a question out there. Anybody in their right mind would say no, possibly no reserve. But what you need to decide is how you're going to divide it up. In other words, you can do a sales tax, but unfortunately, with what Omega did, you can't do a property tax, 4 mills or whatever. So, you just need, if you decide you want to do it, come up with a figure. Of course, 6.5 goes to state regardless.
Right, Art.
So you're talking about going from 1/4 to 2/4 to 1/8, wherever they land. So you're going to get a pretty good increment. Now, if in fact you can cut the cities, that's going to be quite a bit more. Which I didn't think you could.
I think, yeah. we're still checking on that.
We're researching.
Yeah, we're researching. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, that's all right. I had another thought here.
Okay.
I
love it.
We have chased the industry trying to get businesses in the county forever.
Ever.
And then when you think about having to hire somebody else to come in here, an economical person, to pay him, to try to get a business in. First off, you don't have the utilities for it. You don't have water, and it takes utilities, it takes water, electricity, all of this, roads to build, to make business come in, or the industry come in. And, it's not a freebie. If it did come in, it's not a freebie to the county to do that. And like I said, they've chased it for years and years and years, and it's a small business world. It's a small business,
It is.
it's Jackson County, to keep Jackson County surviving.
And that's a great point, Bruce. One of the things we hear from builders in this county is help with the regulations, so that, you know, people can build new homes. And new homes, you know, it doesn't take much, 1,400, 1,500 square foot home can cost you 300 plus, right? And so, one of the things that we did, we sent to zoning and planning, was to reduce the minimum from 20 to 3, with a minimum amount of frontage. That got denied. They didn't take it up. They said they didn't want to do it. My question is, and I hope it goes back to them, is maybe we look at encompassing just around our cities, our incorporated cities. And I get it, people who live out in the country, you know, I don't know that I'd want somebody building right across from me. But if you don't want that, you buy it. So that's just to give you an idea of the battles that we have. You know, on one hand, you got people coming at you all the time. Help us out, make less regulation so that we can build more homes. But then on the other hand, you have part of the community going, we don't want new homes next to us. Make them buy 20 of them. So it's a struggle. But I think this kind of conversation helps because you find a balance somewhere. Maybe that balance is putting a perimeter around our incorporated cities and say, okay, if you live inside of that, you only have to have 3 acres. Maybe that's a better way of getting more houses around Holmes, around Hoyt, around Soldier, Whiting, different areas. I don't know, but
Sales taxes, I just hate to see you jump in.
I appreciate that. Okay.
And
Be above peak, because
the only reason too was, and that I suggested the put part of it towards economic development is because that's what we're too. We need economic development, so okay, how you gonna do it? You know, the first thing that somebody would have to do would be to come in and come to Holton and say, what are your capabilities? How much water can you supply? How much electricity can you supply? How can you hook on the sewer? Do you have any more? And then go to Soldier, go to Nettlehawk, go to Hoyt, you know, all of these around and say, what can you provide and how can you do it? So that is, you know, that's why I hear all the time, we gotta have economic development. So how can we do that? Okay, from what we've heard tonight, you know, nobody seems to be in favor of that, so hey, that's great. We'll try to figure something else out. Yeah.
cost money, I feel.
Sure.
And one of the things, just to piggyback real quick on what Marcus said, one of the things we've looked at, we have what's called appropriations. So we have several different agencies around, USDA, the fairgrounds, they all get appropriations from the county. There may be 5,000, 2,500, 15,000, whatever that is. So we give those appropriations. We went back, we've gone over those appropriations. There's a couple that won't be getting their funding because we just don't think it's benefiting the county. And so we had talked about hiring somebody on a part-time basis to actively go recruit small business to this county. So I'm just throwing that out because Mark had mentioned it. Okay, Pam had a question and you had a question. Pam, do you mind if she goes first since she has to spoke? Thank you, I appreciate that.
I'm Diane River.
Yes.
I just want you to keep this in mind. I've been retired 20 years. I've never gotten a raise. A little bit of Social Security that barely covers Medicare. So remember us old people.
No, I appreciate
Because
that.
we do not get raises.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Pam?
I had one question that I wanted to ask earlier, but so many people in front of me have talked. Are there any services to the reservation here that are provided by the county that can be cut? Because or are all of them mandated by federal government?
Not to the county, but I don't know of any that is mandated by the state or the county for us to provide, other than we provide law enforcement and we provide a court system, and those are all expensive. Dick can attest to the whole prosecutor thing or public defender thing. I mean, it got out of hand, and so one of the things we did was we negotiated a flat rate with our public defenders, and I thank Dick for we got advice from Dick, he's been here forever. Well, not forever, but you know,
Close enough.
close enough. But it was good advice, and so we were able to negotiate a flat rate. So, okay, moving forward, if there's 500 cases, you handle them for the same amount of money. So that saved the county money in and of itself by negotiating, and that wasn't a fun process. I'll just leave it at that. They weren't very happy about it. So,
If there are any services that are being provided, it should stop today,
yeah, there are.
unless it's.
There are. And again, Pam, this has nothing to do with the tribe. There are
No, I
there are neighbors, we all have to live
Right.
together, and I want that really understood. We all live in this county together, we should be neighbors. We do have a tribal member, tribal councilman on our, with tourism, thank you. We got too many things bouncing around here. So,
I've got a response.
yes, thank you.
If the sheriff would agree, he would not have to patrol the reservation. Their police department is willing to do that on their own, okay? We would still have to respond to all felony cases. If they called us, if you and I break the law, our sheriff has to come to arrest us, okay?
So because I thought the way the 1940 Kansas Act read, he has an obligation, a state mandated obligation to respond to all 911 calls or all calls that go out to the reservation.
Well, I'm talking about controlling traffic. He doesn't have to have cars out there driving around.
No.
That could be turned over to the tribe.
And I think a lot of it is, but yeah, that's a good point, thank you.
Yeah, that's what he said, that's what I'm talking about. And it's not because I have nothing against anyone.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's just, but you're talking about raising taxes, well, that would be a way to save money right there. And if something else comes up, and you're not mandated to do it, cut it out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, on to the next thing.
So you'll know that's not up to them, that's up to the sheriff.
Yeah, right.
Because he is the
No, I
elected official and
understand.
we have no authority.
No, I
over it.
understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing we get to control on him is his budget.
Well,
I will tell you guys, Tim does a wonderful job.
excuse me.
Tim does a great job, so go ahead, Tim.
Okay. I thought that this was a sales tax meeting,
It is.
but there was a gentleman back here that brought up solar.
And I think he was trying to relate that to sales tax and how, so
I
go ahead,
understand, but since he,
feel free.
I
Please.
am, okay, all right. You know where I'm
Go
going.
for
Okay.
it.
So he's on one end of this solar discussion, but I'm on the other, because I'm also in the target area of what he's
Sure.
talking about, okay?
Sure.
The payment in lieu of taxes, and this is my take on this, okay?
Okay.
If it wasn't for the federal government getting all this free money out with the Green New Deal, the solar companies would not be here.
I agree. As I said, you won't get me to dispute it.
Okay? By putting a limit of 2,000, I have to say, and maybe some of the people that I know that I've been talking would disagree with me. I don't, because he's gonna get his money.
How do
Okay?
you know that?
If everything goes through and solar panels are put in, everybody that's in that 2,000 acres,
Oh, I follow.
they could be, we're talking about millions of dollars
Okay.
per landowner. But if you put a cap on how many acres, that means only, I'm not gonna benefit from that, and I'm gonna be living right next door to the solar panels.
Did you want to put yours in? So we can make it bigger, it's all a suggestion.
Well, I thought you said you already decided.
No, we're working on what's called a draft,
Okay.
and so you have to put a number in. So we throw a dart and go, okay, let's start
But that
at
would be
2,000.
something to consider.
So what happens is then that draft will go to zoning and planning. Zoning and planning can go, and you all will be able to go into that meeting, and you'll be able to say, you know what, my name's Pam Brown, and I want it to be 4,000. And they can go, well, okay, and then they send it back to us. And then we go, well, okay, let's make some changes, and then we send it back to them. So So see, that's the process. We start the draft, the basic document, but it's fluid. Anything in it can change. Okay?
Go ahead and tell the audience why we are doing it this way.
So, we have been accused of doing what zoning and planning is supposed to be doing. But the reason the draft of regulations started with the county commissioners is because we have an attorney there every week for 4 hours a day at $225, $250 an hour. And so, if we can build a template and then ship it over to zoning and planning, we don't have to have multiple night meetings and special meetings for zoning and planning and pay an additional cost to have that attorney come up and sit through 4 or 5 hours worth of meetings multiple times. So again, the whole reason we are doing this is to build a template for the community to look at. Everybody can have a copy of it. It'll go to zoning and planning. Let the games begin. You get input, they get input, it comes back to us, it goes back to them. That's just how the process is supposed to work. We actually added another layer within that. So I appreciate your comments,
Yeah,
Dan.
but that payment in lieu of taxes.
Yes, ma'am.
Like I said, the solar companies wouldn't be here, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, they cannot, that solar farm can't be taxed for 10 years. That's why they offer the payment in lieu of taxes. It's almost, I know it's not illegal, but it's almost a bribe from the solar companies.
See, and I look at it a little bit different. I had this conversation with a state legislator. I said, boy, you guys screwed up 10 years ago when you said you can't tax renewable energy. He goes, well, how do you figure? And I said, because if it was a tax, you'd be getting a percentage of it. Because it's a donation, you don't get any of it. See the difference? Now when it goes to the state of Kansas, we negotiate a payment in lieu of taxes and it all comes into Jackson County. And like Dan said, the DU Fire Department, they can put together a wish list of everything they would possibly need because they're going to be first responders to a grass fire, right? Hope Hospital can say, well, you know, we may have to respond or have services for ABC. I'm just saying it allows us to negotiate these things. And the piece that I want you to remember about subsidies, again, you're saying that it's not viable without government subsidies, right? So I don't know if you realize in 1974 when Jeffrey Energy Center was being built, in 1970, I think it was 1976, it went online. It was built with federal subsidies, and it still receives federal subsidies today.
And I don't agree with that.
I don't either, but it does, and we love to have the electricity, right? And in 1974, one of the commissioners that was sitting in one of our seats said that all the people said all the stuff coming out of the stack was going to kill everybody. And it ended up in Platte County, and they've been doing it for years. There are multiple places that the federal government injects subsidies. One of the largest, I bet you can't guess what one of the largest recipients of federal subsidies in the state of Kansas is. Say it louder.
Agriculture.
Agriculture, that's exactly right.
How much is it per
Crop
acre?
insurance.
How much are they offering per acre in lieu of taxes?
I don't know. It's not my, I don't have a lease.
In lieu of
That's
taxes.
nothing to me.
Yeah, is that what I heard them say? In lieu of property tax, they make a donation to you?
That's correct.
How much do they go?
We would negotiate
We're
that.
not even close to looking at anything like that.
We would negotiate, the three of us would negotiate that.
Not the landowner, but you do that with?
Landowner has nothing to do with that.
And we're nowhere close to that. We want to get the regulations hammered out first. The resiliency plans, the roads, the payment in lieu of taxes, all of that, those four buckets would be a separate negotiation from the regulations.
Did they give you any idea of what that may
What
be?
talking about?
I didn't know.
No,
And that's a great question.
Yeah.
All we can do is give you what we've seen around
It's
us.
kind of hard, yeah, it's kind of hard to even understand that when you don't even know what kind of.
So,
you're talking about.
right, we don't even know how many acres it would be or how many kilowatts it would be. those types of things. All we know is what Nemaha County has negotiated for their smaller facility up there. And, you know,
And
1.1
honestly,
million, and I've seen the document, it's over a 30-year period.
Yeah, honestly, Katrina, there's nobody to negotiate with. Because, like I said, we're not writing regulations for any one company, we're writing regulations to protect the county, and if a company can fit their business plan into our regulations, okay, that's great. If
Yeah.
they can't, they can go on down the road.
Yeah.
So,
Don?
I wanted this to
Or
stay on
stretch.
taxes, I just want everybody to know that. That's why I did the question.
Yeah.
So, just a couple things. I went to school in Pot County, so I got to go to schools that benefited from Jeffrey Energy Center. Roswell and St. Mary's got everything they wanted, and they both got it, because each one had to have it. So, again, we pay federal taxes. I guess my point is, again,
It's not.
I don't want a solar farm unless it benefits this county, unless if the land can be better. And there's regulations that help the people that are living there, or at least pertain to them. I mean, if it's within 50 yards, I think there should be a waiver, and they can sign a waiver and say it can be a little closer if they want. They get a little money for it, I think. I am in favor of all the landowners, and I've talked to them. I haven't signed a sheet, but I'm gonna want them to I am gonna give a certain percentage of my money to the foundation of Jackson County to make sure, because I don't think it's just my money.
Right.
I want to be paid for my land because I don't get to use it. I get to look at it. Yes, I don't live there, but I want to live there. If I didn't retire so quick and I wasn't a teacher, I'd have built there by now. And I got to live close to the hospital because my son has seizures, so that's why we haven't moved back yet. So,
I appreciate it.
anyway.
Thanks, Don, I appreciate that. We have a question back here, you've been very patient. Yes, ma'am.
On the sales tax on the 1.4, the rock tax is the 0.4.
That's correct.